When Kim asked me to come back and tell a story, I thought I'd tell you a story about Haiti. It was 1973. Watergate was in full bloom. Richard Nixon was president. And we were looking for some good news, and so we were sending aid out to many countries. And I led a detachment of 15 frogmen down to Haiti to clear a harbor so that cruise ships could come in and tourism would go up. And then I thought, I'll tell them about how we did that. And so we brought 20 tons of explosives, 40 pounds to a box, and we took those explosives, laid them out in the harbor in 500-pound increments. And then I thought I'd tell you that when we did that, the fishermen loved us because with each blast, we killed thousands of fish. I know. But we killed thousands of fish, and they would come sweeping in. Then I thought, well, I could describe to all our viewers how it was like a biblical event. I mean, they were reaping the fish in just as the apostles did when Jesus said, lower your nets, and it almost swamped the boats. Then I didn't know if that would be interesting. And then I thought, oh, I know what would be interesting, the boxes themselves. You know, they came 40 pounds to a box, so that's 1,000 boxes. Think about that. What do you do with all that? Well, these boxes were made out of some of the finest wood in the world, and there's a shortage of wood in Haiti. Nothing goes to waste there. So what did the Haitians do? Well, the Haitians came, and they took those boxes, and every morning we would come down, and we would open them up, and we'd cut the straps off these boxes, and we'd cut them clear, and we'd make sure that these boxes were cleared away so we could do our job. Well, when we did that, I didn't care what happened to the boxes. One day, Joseph, our Haitian translator, came over and said, I've got 700 boxes in the warehouse, which is actually a tomato canning factory. What do you want to do with these? I said, I don't want the boxes. He said, you don't want those? It's incredible. I mean, all that wood. So, in about 40 minutes, all 700 of those boxes were gone. And all I could see, and they're not that light, and all I could see were these women walking down the road with 3 boxes stacked on their head like you see the pictures of people carrying water. It was quite impressive. Then I thought I'd tell you, on day 40 while we were there, a plane crashed. In fact, there was a commercial plane that my wife had flown in on, the same aircraft a week earlier. And there were 13 people tragically killed in it. We went up, recovered the bodies, lowered them down the escarpment, brought them back. And I thought it was my duty to probably go to the funeral for some reason. And when I went to the funeral, here were 12 caskets. We never did find out what happened to that 13th body. But the caskets were made out of the wood from these boxes. And you can see on the side on some of these boxes are the words that are burned into it, return to nearest naval ammunition depot. And then I thought I'd tell you about what was going on with the ruling class, and then what happened when they tried to overthrow the government. And then I'd tell you about, but you know, I'm not going to tell you about any of those things. No, because the story tonight is the story of a 27-year-old mother with a 9-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter who was working hard in April of this year, and COVID hit, and the business closed, and the next thing that they knew, she was out of a job. Her sister took her in, but the landlord told the sister, no, I rented you this apartment for 4 people, and now you have 7 people in it. If you keep this up, I'm going to evict you all. So the sister told her she'd leave, and she was out on the street and didn't know where to go. Fortunately, she knew of the ForKids hotline, and she called that number. And when she arrived at Haven House, the 9-year-old was clearly in charge. He took his mom by the hand, and he led her up to the door, and that door opened, and that ForKids staff member there welcomed her with open arms, gave her food. She was in shock. She was in that shock of, where am I going to get my food tomorrow? That's the story of the Story Slam. And you make that story by voting not only for it, but for every other story. So when you get a chance, press number 2 there and make sure that you make it worth your while. Thank you very much. God bless you and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Nice.